Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Squeegee Live podcast. I'm here with Seth Byers, my homosexual life mate, Mark Tanner, and our special guest for the evening, Noah Pedersen from Window Cleaning History, man. The guy that allowed me to create one of the most popular t-shirts, actually the most popular t-shirt I've ever done, the Window Cleaning History shirt, which this spring in April, I'm uploading a whole bunch of new designs. There's some really good ones. The Window Cleaning History shirt is going to be available for purchase on there. The one with the what do you want to call it? What is that, Seth? The Thrasher magazine logo on the front.
Oh yeah,
and
that one.
The it's going to be void of the Window Cleaning History doodad on the front, like Noah's got on his shirt right now. It was on the sleeve, but the place that prints my shirts doesn't do the sleeves, but it's still going to have what matters the most, and that's the back. So
that's sweet. That's a sweet shirt, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite shirt.
It's my favorite one I have.
I keep growing out of mine. I'm still growing. I'm a big boy. You know what I mean? I keep growing out of mine, so I have to keep getting.
I definitely grew out of mine.
Yeah,
makes a little bit robust.
A little rotund. You know what I mean?
Listen, you're not heavy. You're robust.
Yeah, robust. Right? That's right.
Good.
I like that. I think I'm gonna stick with it. And I think I'm gonna stick with robust. That. Robust. I like that, Seth. See, Seth's good for something occasionally. You know what I mean?
You're not like Jacob. Jacob Williams over there with his fucking quadruple chins talking shit.
Ah, damn! You're going there.
He's already in
already.
I
know. You notice how Seth is locked up again, like Captain Worst Internet in the world. Hey, I just built a pressure washing trailer. I don't have any internet.
That's because my computer's an absolute hunk of dog shit, and I'm getting a new one next week, and Skype keeps downloading like new software, so keep shutting down.
Right. Need more Patreon members, so make sure you guys sign up.
Yeah,
we do. I need a personal computer. Come on, guys.
I need a new personal computer.
Patreon / Seth needs a new pool.
Yeah.
We need 4K resolution so I can send quality videos to Mark later on. So
I hope so, man. That thing is awful grainy. I hope those bumps is that just the pixels.
It is. Yeah, I'll give you something to be able to, offset, something to give you scale.
Right. So I thought it was a rash, and
usually is.
Yeah, it froze at a great spot.
There you go. Yeah.
Look at him over there. It usually does.
The shirts will probably go on sale a little after the 1st, around there. It's probably when they'll go on after April Fool's Day. They'll be up. So, but there's a bunch of cool ones. I actually have one more. I'm gonna try to get Chris Lambernides to help me with, because he's the art man and he can help me. He brings my my ideas to life. My ideas.
Yeah, they got a whole print shop going over there.
Oh well, he's not printing it for me.
Yeah.
But he does help me with the artwork, because I have issues at times getting that done. I can't bring my ideas to fruition at times. You know what I mean? So
I feel like you've had some classics coming through.
Yeah, but I mean, I wish you guys knew the struggle that was behind the scene to getting that shit together. It's not fucking easy for me, dude. Like,
banging your head against the wall.
Yeah, it's never a good sight. You know what I mean? It's never a good sight, because although I do run a podcast, I did not grow up with the internet, contrary to what Mark thinks. I mean, I was born in the 70s. So he's like, you guys grew up with the video games and all that, didn't you? But
I don't sound like that. And maybe it's attributed to all that.
I'm fairly certain. No, I don't even smoke bongs, dude. So there's that.
Yeah. My senior year of high school was the first time, if you did a report, that you could reference websites.
Yeah.
That they allowed it was my senior year of high school.
Yeah, and you could go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it was the same. Yeah, and there was no internets to be studying on when I was in high school, so Mark can eat a whole bag of dicks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got tagged for plagiarism because I couldn't cite all my web sources because it was impossible to find them once I found them the first time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, well, the internet was like the Wild West back then too. It was like a site would be there and it'd be gone the next day, and a new one would pop up, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
Running on Prodigy. all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Ask Jeeves.
I'm kind of thinking when the internet came up, I just totally fucking ignored it for the longest time anyway. So I'm even
Right.
further behind the curve.
Yeah.
Like really not much
That
interest in
probably
it.
didn't help your situation at all. I mean, I know you've come a long way since we were in Kansas City, Missouri for the Perry Tate thing. I know you came a long way since then because we were like Seth was really helping you navigate that phone of yours without your wife around.
Yeah, he had a lot of questions,
Yeah.
and I had just helped my dad get an iPhone, so I was like, "Got this.
Yeah.
We're good." My dad swears at his phone too. It's cool.
I was supposed to be there in Kansas City, but I had to change my plans last minute. So
Good thing, dude.
wonder
It was a
what
stellar
would have
time.
been.
The only thing you
well,
would have missed is like drinking and watching madness happen in a park.
No, but well, the one thing that he would have missed is a whole lot of fucking laughter because
Oh,
I
yeah,
laughed
true.
this fucking time.
That is true.
I do think
Yeah.
I do think I remember you saying that you were gonna be there.
Yeah, I was planning on it, and then I don't know because I think I had just. What year was that? That was
18?
2018.
18 or
You had a
19.
2-story job or something?
Yeah.
I had just moved to Virginia from Chicago.
That's
so I
right.
think
That's what it was.
I think it was just an odd time for me.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
got to be culture shock though, right? From Chicago to Virginia. I mean, I don't
Oh, yeah.
never been to either place, but Chicago just seems to be a battleground.
It was, and yeah. So when we closed up, my father passed away in 2017, and my mom. We decided to close up our shop. Couldn't find a gig in window cleaning where I was, and then found something on LinkedIn for Richmond, Virginia, working with Valcourt Building Services. So followed that lead and ended up there, and have been there ever since. But yeah, it was a definite culture shock, but it was kind of nice. It was a nice change of pace to go from Chicago to Richmond.
So that was a family business forever though, right? Did you sell that company or?
Yeah, it was tough. So we were able to move our the family company, which was General Window Cleaning, which my grandfather started in 43.
That's so cool.
And then before that was my great grandfather, but he didn't start our family business. He kind of worked for another company and bought out his owner. And then my grandfather bought out my great grandfather somewhere down the line. It's kind of merged things.
I'm feeling wet behind the ears here. I love it. I absolutely, man, that is so cool.
I took it for granted for so long. It was just normal to me. I thought, I've told this before, but squeegee around the house it was a common tool. It was just something that I just grew up with. So I just figured everyone did it. So I didn't really see it until I was, full time for the company after school. And, it wasn't after a few years where I really saw the history and was digging up old files, because we still had paper files going back into the 30s. So just, I'm
so cool. So did you know after finishing school that this was what you were going to do? Was this the plan, or it was just kind of?
No, I kind of not happened upon it, but I honestly, growing up, it's not something I wanted to do or thought about doing. I saw the hard work that was put into it by my dad and the family, and I didn't think I would go into it. And then the company lost its ops manager, and so my dad asked me if I could fill in a role temporarily, and just kind of stuck. And then I was, made it. I think I was with the company full time for about 15 years. But I had washed windows, starting when I was, I don't know how old, junior high, in the summers and stuff. I don't claim to be a great window washer or any sort of speed
Dude,
demon
this
on
shit's
the
in your
glass.
blood no matter what you say.
Yeah, but it's something that was natural, and I love it. All the tools and the just. As I dig deeper into the history of the whole thing, I've got plenty of my own family history that I've got files and pictures, but it's been really cool as an industry as a whole, digging back into some of the old photos. And I love the documents. That's my favorite thing. I know a lot of people probably like to see more of the pictures aspect of things. And
no, I like when you put those invoices up, and I actually screenshot so I could zoom in to see what what the pricing and the way they did it back then is so cool.
I actually have something super cool from Noah gave me. I've got a receipt, and it's is it like a blueprint or like a patent drawing, kind of like a copy?
Yeah,
that right there. Yeah, it's kind of like that right there.
Yeah. Those are the only two I made. I made one for you, one for me.
Well, I've got it. It's in the living room. That's why it's never seen on the podcast, because it's framed in the living room. So,
yeah.
Did you change it over to T.J. Gilbert?
No, I would never do that. No.
So yeah, that's the patent drawing for. We still have my great grandfather's Squeegee. So it's a Chicago style Squeegee. And that's actually the patent for that one,
which is also the Squeegee on the back of the window cleaning history shirt, which I don't know if a lot of people know that or not. So
is
that a usable? I mean, do you have one of those physically?
Yeah, it's actually at my office, my physical office. This is my home office. I've got it at my office up in here in Virginia. But I mean, it's heavy. It is fucking heavy, and it's.
Now, what kind of rubber would something?
Well, the reason why it's heavy is because it was built to last a long fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Everything back in the day was heavy. Men were men back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I should actually weigh it, because I mean, I couldn't imagine going all day with that thing. It's solid. They called it the Golden Queen. Was the Chicago style Squeegee, and it's 3 thick red rubbers clamped down by screws, and it's a beast. I can't imagine, especially trying to work at heights. Nobody was doing rope descent back then, but plenty of block and tackle stage work.
Right.
Now, did your great grandfather and all them do block and tackle back in the day?
Yeah. So great grandfather was doing block and tackle. So I don't know if I might have told you guys a story, and I'm sure some people that are hopefully watching have heard it. But my great grandfather came from Norway, and he shipwrecked. He was a sailor and shipwrecked in Mobile Bay, Alabama, in 1906 or so. And then a few years later, he finally made his way to Chicago, where since he was good with heights, working on high ships, he got into window cleaning. So yeah, he was doing it all. And then I did find some old block and tackles from. They were in our shop, but one of them had a little tag on it that said 7 stories. So I know that they were being used. And
that's so cool.
We had a whole 55-gallon drum full of block and tackles when we closed up shop.
Well, you needed a 50. Like, people don't understand the way that worked, and I've never seen it used, but a guy that I had working for me came up the block and tackle route, and so you have a block and tackle and several ropes that run through it. So to do a 7-story building, that rope could be 350 feet.
Sure.
Because it has to loop back through the block and the tackle.
Yep.
And from what I was told, you would literally hang your chair and your block, and the ropes would come down. They usually put like a drum, a 55-gallon type drum, to catch the rope as it descended into there. And then when you got off your chair, the weight of the block would literally lift your chair back up, which was a piece of wood, would lift it back up on its own.
Right.
You wouldn't have to, and you just move it over.
No shit. Yeah. That's wild, man.
And we were still using them in house. We weren't using them for work, but we'd use them to hang stages up in our shop, up. So because might as well use them for something.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a 7-to-1, like for every pound you're lifting 7 pounds type thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's slow. Only because it's weaving all through the blocks and tackles.
I can't imagine. I mean, to me that's
what they
crazy,
had back
but
then.
That's what you had to do back then. I mean, with a valley full of 60-foot ladders and
that's crazy, dude.
They were laughing at some water-fed pole. Those guys would be like,
"Oh man."
Yeah.
So if you've seen some of my pictures, like we had a lot of boom trucks. We had like these. We called them snorkel trucks, and they'd go up, quite a few feet. But we had bought a water-fed unit way back when from Ettore, Jim Willingham. Actually, we bought it from Jim Willingham. He drove it from Texas to Chicago, but we didn't use it for years because we were so used to using our boom trucks that we didn't need it at the time. And it was those Ettore yellow fiberglass, those poles, if you guys remember using
the Aqua
those.
Glass.
Oh yeah, the Aqua Clean stuff.
Yeah, the Aqua Clean stuff. That's what I meant to say. Aqua Clean. Yeah, those. I actually still have my 48-foot Aqua Clean yellow fiberglass pole on the side of my shed. Yeah, I have. I don't know why I still have it. But I just, for whatever reason, we used to bet like $100 or a paycheck. Like if you could, I'll bet you your paycheck, you can't fucking stand that up by yourself. You know what I mean? But you had to have it fully extended. And I wish, like camera flip phones back then, there's the video quality is really terrible on that shit. You'd have to stand in the other, like 45 yards away to get like the whole thing in the picture. But
yeah,
you'd stand.
Most of ours splintered,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
we tossed them, but I think one of our guys stole our 40-foot one, but
it happens.
That's so cool.
It happens.
Yeah. So over the years, there must have been hundreds
that's
employed by that company, like thousands maybe, with your great-grandfather, your grandfather, or what? Like your great-grandfather, did he have a physical company with a bunch of guys working, or was it just him out there?
I don't know the exact size. So he took over. He bought the company that he worked for called Munson Window Cleaning, and I know my grandfather bought him out probably in 1947 or so. I'm not sure how many guys they had, but our company was probably one of the biggest starting, because they started in, I think it was 43 was technically when it started. And my grandfather couldn't go to the war because he had half his stomach removed when he was younger. So he was out. So he was able to grow the company through the war. Took over the accounts of some of the companies that couldn't field a whole unit, and so he went from there. But we were one of the biggest companies for a while, and then kind of as the years went, kind of declined. Probably starting in like the late 90s or so.
Kind of Pedersen out.
Kind of Pedersen out. Yeah. Good one.
So let's fast forward like 70 years. What's going on nowadays? Is it just you? Do you have employees or?
So I work for Valcourt Building Services.
Oh, yes.
And so we're a fairly large company up and down.
They're all over the place.
All over the place. But I've known the company, of Valcourt for years, and very fortunate to be able to get a gig. I'm happy to still be in the industry. Our family company, the name still lives on. We had some great friendly competitors in the area. Guy named Tom Trinan out of Chicago with Service One. He's taken over the company and the accounts. Our non-union company that I ran was World Window Cleaning Company that started in 1890. Was one of the companies that we had acquired throughout the years. I think probably in the mid 80s or so. We acquired the two oldest companies in the Midwest, which was World Window Cleaning in 1890, and I think it was Clearview in 1892 was the other one.
That's the name of my company is Clearview.
Listen, it's a classic name.
That's cool as shit.
It's classic.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah, so we also had a janitorial firm that still lives on. My cousin, my other side of the family, my dad's brother. So my cousins work with that. They actually merged with a window cleaning company in Chicago. So they're still at it. So we've got a lot of people still in the family still doing it. At the end, it was my dad, my mom, myself, a couple office employees that had been there forever, and we had a crew that had been there for years, a lot of vets, and they were all great, and I definitely miss working with them and in the city for sure. But Chicago is getting crazy.
Not getting. Yeah. That fucking place is that's like the Ukraine right now, but it's been that way for the last 5 or 6 years. It's like Chirac, baby. Chirac, baby.
That's where that Beetlejuice mayor is, right?
I think
Mayor Lightfoot.
I feel like
Mayor Daley, but
don't say stupid shit when I'm drinking.
I feel like it's Boston in a way where neighborhoods are bad and then other neighborhoods are really good. I feel like it's a power balance.
Yeah, honestly, I never felt unsafe in Chicago. It's pretty much, the bad areas are really located in a few areas. There's the south side and, some of the west side, but, there's bad parts everywhere. But
right.
for the most part, I always found it to be a safe city, even though apparently, it's not. But there's a lot of good parts. Chicago's a great city. I definitely miss it, especially the food. You can't get a good hot dog or pizza here in DC.
Yeah.
Richmond's not known for either one of those. So.
Hey, so Noah, you're a fan of the glizzies then? You're a glizzy guy then, huh?
The what?
Glizzy.
Glizzy.
Hot dogs, glizzies.
Yeah, sure.
So you're apparently not in the know. That's what all the kids call hot dogs now is glizzies. They call them glizzies, and you are you like to touch wieners if you eat one. Like you can't eat a hot dog regular no more.
Like, I mean, they're made of lips and assholes, so I don't know what to tell you.
Well, everyone's like, you can't like put a hot dog up to your mouth without somebody busting out a camera on you. You know what I mean? It's like, But I'm comfortable with my manhood, and I like lips and assholes. You know what I mean? So I eat them.
You eat the jizz glizz.
Yeah, I eat them jizzy glizzies is what I eat. They're my favorite.
Man.
Yeah, so Mark, I didn't get a chance to really talk to you at the IWCA show.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about that the other day when I realized you were coming on, and I'm like, I was able to talk to him 2 years ago, and I saw Noah, and I'm like, damn, I always like to have conversation. I mean, I could talk to you all day. I just love the history.
You were busy, and I was running around because I'm still involved with the IWCA. I've been involved with the IWCA for forever. My dad helped start it. He was the first elected president of the IWCA. I was president in 2016. But I still enjoy it, and I was kind of running around with my head cut off, there.
Yeah. Well, I saw you once or twice, and then I didn't see you again, so I kind of figured you were probably busy,
Yeah, I don't want to, take away anybody's time. I know you were talking to a bunch of people and all the vendors there. I want to make sure that they're getting their time with the, potential customers, all that good stuff.
Well, I wouldn't shove anyone to the ground if you showed up, but I certainly would have liked to have more conversation.
Funny you say that, because I definitely saw Phil on the ground beating a
with the hammer, right?
A foot-long piece of pole.
I just don't understand. I don't understand, man. I don't get that.
What is going on here?
Yeah. Making some noise for the boys.
It was a good show, though. I mean, it was packed. I don't know.
It was better than the year before, yeah, because a lot of people were not afraid of COVID anymore. It was better organized because I think it looked to me at the end. I know there was some issues with one of the larger vendors showing up, and there was some pressure with that. And but no, I think this was the most successful one I've been to in the last.
Fucking Seth. He's gone again. Oh, Sethy poo.
Where's he?
I mean, at this point, just download Skype on your fucking phone, you yum, and we'll just talk to you on your phone. I mean, Mark did how many episodes? 50 episodes on a telephone in his shop.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a long time.
I've only been asking you for like 3 fucking years, so it's not a big deal, dude.
Hopefully it'll be more often. It's just I don't know what just busy as shit.
Oh, that's totally understandable. You
guys are rock stars for coming on every week and doing this.
It's funny. No, it was TJ used to talk about you all the time, and I just kind of going along with it. I just wasn't paying so much attention. And then he's like, no, Pedersen. I mean, history of window cleaning. So I found that on Facebook, and I'm like, this guy's, I got to talk to this guy. So then for the longest time, TJ would rag on me because he's like, who do we want to get on? I'm like, Noah. And he's like, who do we want to get on? Noah. Leave the guy on. I'm going to get him on. I'm like, dude, that guy is
I've been asking him for quite a while. Even before you were a part of the show, I asked Noah. He was one of my first asks way back in the day. He's like, yeah, we'll get her done. And then shit happens, you know what I mean? So
I told you were going to be the first thing that I ever did. I haven't done any other interviews, podcasts, any of that.
You stayed true to that. You stayed true to that.
I made a promise to TJ. I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm doing his show before I do anything else.
That's awesome.
Fuck it.
That's awesome.
You did make me a promise, and you kept it. So I do dig that.
Not like they're beating down my door.
Right, but Noah's actually, window cleaning history ran by Noah is probably, I would say, one of the first like 10 subscribers to this YouTube channel. You know, one of the very first guys to sign up for Patreon, like Jason Lehman, like one of the first like 5 guys that, you know, like really like, you know, made comments and followed us, talked to us in the background. It was, you know, super cool, man. Super cool. So this right here is like my bucket list. I only have one more person on my window cleaning podcast bucket list, and that's Todd Ford. And I don't think I'll ever get Todd Ford on the podcast because he's like fucking. That dude is fucking. You know, he don't jive with none of this shit. But he is like. But that dude's story and his vibe are like, I would love to sit down for 2 hours and talk to that dude. This shit that guy has seen and been through in his life. I don't know if you guys have ever been friends with Todd Ford on Facebook, but Todd, or if anyone, Mark, do you know who Todd Ford is?
Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time, so I don't see much out of him, but yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do Facebook anymore. He quit the Facebooks. He actually sent me, his last message from me was, hey, TJ, really dig the podcast. Here's this phone number and that phone number. Fuck Facebook, I'm out for life, peace. And I was like, all right, you know, and I sent him a message back like, all right, dude, and he's never looked at it. He really meant, I'm never coming back.
yeah.
But I used to love watching him go live in his fucking shop and punch the punching bag, the heavy bag. He'd do rounds on the heavy bag. Do you guys remember that? Oh,
it was way back.
Yeah, dude, Todd's the best, man. So if that ever happens, then my window, it was Diego Garcia, Noah Pedersen, Eddie Stewart, and fucking Todd Ford, and we've got everybody down except for Todd. So
yeah, I mean, you guys have had some great shows, and that's why I always love tuning in, because it's just, you know, it's the randomness of, you know, it's just not window cleaning. It's just. It's a whole bunch of bullshit, and it's
right.
It's
well, that's the only thing that keeps it going. I mean, how many times? I mean, talking to you is different, okay?
Sure.
Because of the history, but
right.
I mean, we've all pretty much gone through everything we've experienced. So between the three of us, let's say there's 75, 80 years of window cleaning experience. You know, I mean, how many more times are we going to talk about certain things?
Yeah, I honestly feel like that niche in the window cleaning industry and social media is already taken up. That's Steve-O's gig.
Yeah.
That's Steve-O and Jersey's gig to tell you guys, you know, over and 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 over again the same things verbatim over and 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 over again.
Yeah.
Steve-O, what's your favorite soap? What's your favorite squeegee? And it's like, dude, I don't know. He's fucking told you 1,000 fucking times. What else you want the guy to tell you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those dudes are more suited to that. They're really good at it. That's their niche, and you know, that's you know what I mean. That's why. When Mark's like,
well, they're also both doing sales. We're not selling anything.
And we're not selling anything here except for shitty T-shirts. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean.
Those are high quality.
Yeah, that's right, high quality T-shirts. That's what I meant.
Buy them.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. But you know, Mark's right. How many times can we get on here and talk about, you know, the window cleaning business and, you know, how to do this and this is how you do this, and that's too hard to do every week.
Hey, you guys want to talk chamois? You guys want to talk brushes?
Hey, right?
Let's get down with it.
Let's get down, bro.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I
belts all day.
I actually have that piece of chamois that I've never used that. I want you to know. It's sitting right here on my bookshelf. I just don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, man, this is a piece of this chamois from, like, fucking 100 years ago. And I'm like, he's like, I want you to have a piece. So I'm like, well, what the fuck am I ever going to do with this? I can't fucking do nothing with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dumb ass will leave it somewhere.
I grew up using a chamois.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I love it. Actually, that's from, so I still have 3 kips of chamois from, like, I don't know how old they are. Mm-hmm. But they're still all good. I've got, I don't know how many fucking sponges. I've got bales and bales of sponges.
I have a sponge too. You sent me a sponge. Noah sent me like this box of goodies, man. I was like, dude, this is the coolest shit ever, man. You know, like the receipt and the patent copy. I have one of those.
Did I get you one of those?
Yeah, I have one of those. I was like, man, this is the fucking coolest shit ever, man.
I'm happy to share it, man. You know, to me, it's just getting it out there, and I think people enjoy it. So it's nice to see those interactions. And
I'm gonna tell you now that the way that the world is changing and the way that it's changed, the further we get away from our roots, the more appealing our history is to us. So even in this industry, you know, even something as small as this, like your Instagram, if you guys don't follow Window Cleaning History on Instagram, you really should. It's like one of the best, like, industry related Instagrams there is. He's like, the shit he puts up there is excellent. But I just think that's more appealing to see the way it used to be done. You know what I mean? History is super important, you know what I mean? And even in this small industry, it's important, you know what I mean? To see, like you were saying, how heavy that squeegee was, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and how far we've come to where we are right now. I'm sure somebody's working on a carbon fiber squeegee. I'm sure that's out there happening somewhere, you know what I mean? Whether it be lame or not, I see Mark roll his fucking mouth up like a fucking straight cunt.
Yeah, I got one of those Unger ones over here somewhere.
Yeah, he says the same. Yeah, he says that they used to say the same thing about carbon fiber fucking trad poles, and that got proved wrong. And they said the same thing about $300 buckets on a belt. You know, everyone poo-pooed that. You know what I mean? Don't poo-poo shit too soon. Oh man.
And 4-foot squeegees.
4-foot squeegees. Yeah, there you go. I have my boss actually has the super duper, the turbo.
Do you have like the 6-foot one?
Yeah,
I have like that 72 Eliminator.
The Eliminator, the 72.
This was before he put the because now they've got like
the helper system. Yeah. Well, it steps down like 3 times. That dude, the dude that does all Sorbo YouTube, I can't remember his name. He's what is his name? Damn.
He's the guy out like Superb Window Cleaning.
Yeah, it's Superb. Yeah. I can't remember his name. He got mad.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, well, he got mad at me. I won't tell you guys why publicly, but he got mad at me. He got mad. We had a little bit of a spat, but you know, he was.
So after using the death scraper?
No, I don't know. I just don't like it when dudes bite my, like, swagger jack me, man. Like, if I'm doing something and then you copy it, like, verbatim, it, like, really fucking irritates me. It's like, man, come up with an original idea, you fuck you. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, Louis. Yeah, that's it, Louis. Louis a great guy, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we're cool, but we had a spat. But, like, he's got that huge ass fucking, he's like, you know, them one swipes and shit. I'm just like, I don't, fuck, man. You know?
One way, and then you can do it the other way because the rubber's made to go both ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just, for the life of me, like, when my old boss fucking busted out, I just looked at him like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, we could do Value City's windows in one pass. I'm like, okay. And then he come down there, and he started on one side, and I started on the other, and I come around the corner with my 18-inch squeegee, and he's like halfway down because he's having to fucking keep going back because he keeps fucking up. It's like, you know, I was like, dude, that thing is lame. He's all like fucking got 2 handles on it and shit. I'm like, you're whack, bro.
Soren's, he's great. You know, he's, you know, where innovation kind of takes time in our industry. Like it was cool to see because he came out with a whole shitload of stuff.
Right.
You know, back when he was working with Ederay, way back when, and then kind of broke off, was doing his own thing. But yeah, I mean, I have one of those original dockets. I mean, I haven't used the damn thing, but you know, the idea.
I don't know anyone that's got it to work consistently. But
sure, I mean, the idea is amazing. I mean, these ideas are great. You know, it's, you know, and I love to see innovation in our industry, but you know, how much.
It's only so much you can
happen. How much does, you know?
Right.
Your tried and trues are still your tried and trues.
Right. I had like several long phone conversations with him, with the dude from Sorbo, and he.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah. He don't. He was like, hey man, you gotta. Like, I put up a video, and then he, like, you know, he's like, you got to take that video down. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, you told people I gave that to you. And I was like, well, yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, he goes, now everybody's going to want me to give them things. I'm like, no, you just tell them no. Yeah, you know? He's like, well, what do I do if this guy asks me for, like, these people start sending me emails wanting stuff for free? I was like, tell them no.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I mean, the difference is I'm like, you're giving it to me to test it out and give people my thoughts on it. You know what I mean? You know, that's payment essentially. You know what I mean? You know, I'm going to advertise this for you and tell people that it's, you know, whether it's good or it's bad. And, you know, how can you go wrong with a fucking Sorbo channel? You know what I mean? You know, you can't go wrong with that. people are going to want to buy them. And if they ask you for one for free, tell them to get fucked and stay fucked. You know what I mean? What else,
Yeah. You want one, go buy one.
Yeah.
Check out the website.
Yeah. Go to...
Whatever they cost, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Do you have $25?
Yeah. Do you have $25? For just 25 cents a day, you can have a Sorbo Squeegee yourself.
Yeah, man. The cost of things is crazy. I mean, I remember when I first started I think I started working full-time for my company in like 2004. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe a couple years from then, I know the rubbers took a huge skyrocket after that. I think I don't know if it was 2006. Rubbers almost doubled. And, they're at a highest ever probably, but there's a lot of shit out there too.
Well, I use only the best, and that's Black Diamond Squeegee rubber. It doesn't cost a whole bunch. It's a little cheaper than most. Mr. Awesome Guy, he said rest in peace gas. R.I.P. gas. No shit, dude.
This has to be TJ's buddy. Mr. Awesome Guy?
That's not. No, that I have no idea who that is. It's just a gentleman that watches the podcast, sir.
Just a gentleman.
Just a gentleman, or I don't mean to assume your gender, but
a gent or a man, whoever it may be.
Mammerman, whatever it is,
Yeah.
Whatever.
A folk.
Yeah, folk, a person.
Old folks.
A people's, I don't know, furry, something. You might identify as a cat. Apparently now schools are putting litter boxes in schools so people can shit in a fucking litter box because they identify as cats. I swear to God, dude, it's a thing.
No way.
It's a thing, dude. It's a thing, dude. You guys need to start scrolling on TikTok. Quit hearting all those political posts, Mark, and fucking get into the other side of TikTok.
Dude, you're taking a shit in a litter box, and you better be the one cleaning it up.
Isn't this like a sandbox? I know when I was a kid, we had a sandbox. They had to get rid of it because all the local cats had shit in it.
And I want to tell you guys something that just touched my heart. What Noah just said right there. Now all these years I thought my grandfather was a prick because I was never allowed to have a sandbox. Like my one grandfather bought me a sandbox, and then he brought my one grandfather, my dad's adopted father, my grandpa Red, bought me a fucking sandbox and a swing set. And he brought the swing set and the sandbox over to my grandpa Lay's house, and my grandpa Lay's like, I'm not putting that fucking thing in my backyard. He goes, you put it back in your fucking car and get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? My grandfather was a sworn enemy to cats. He did not like cats. My grandfather always had black Ford LTDs. And they were always spit shine fucking bing. And if a cat walked on that motherfucker, I can tell you he fed him the old Papa surprise. I know I've told that story on here before, right? What my grandfather used to do to cats. I mean, it's well past the statute of limitations. What my grandfather used to do was mix antifreeze and tuna fish and feed it to cats. And the reason why he did that is this is what he explained to me is what you would do is when a cat eats the antifreeze tuna fish, they don't die immediately right there at your house. He goes, them motherfuckers will go home and die and shit in their own yard. So it was like the silent killer, you know what I mean? My grandfather my mom hates that I tell that story.
Yeah.
She really hates that I tell that story, but it's the truth. My grandfather, and my grandfather said cats are only good for one thing, and that's to keep mice out of barns. That's the only thing they're good for. He goes, well, you got something that shits in the house. I shit in the house. He's just he's not having that. You know what I mean? Not having it. He loved dogs. He loved dogs, but cats, no.
I just don't see.
He would.
If I was in elementary school and I see some kid dropping a coil in the litter box, I'm probably kicking him in the face.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I smell that, you're fucking done.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't.
Done.
And there's this really good TikTok going around right now where this dad calls into a school board meeting and he's like, well, my daughter identifies as a lizard, and I want her to be able to have a terrarium in each classroom. And this dude is arguing with this lady on the Skype call. It is the funniest shit ever. I mean, clearly he's trolling, but he hangs in there. Yeah. He hangs in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want you guys to get a terrible impression of my grandfather. My grandfather was a great man. Every person has one hang up, and my grandfather's just cats. You know what I mean? Like, if he woke up in the morning and there was fucking footprints on that black LTD from a cat, he fucking lost his mind. He just came out of his skin. I mean, he graduated to putting rat poisoning in the fucking the tuna fish. He's such
I used to have this cat that would every morning would throw up in front of my roommate's door.
Seth.
So when my roommate got out of his room, he's immediately stepping in some cold, wet.
Yeah, cat puke.
Loved it.
Yeah, Seth might want to just, hey, bro, you might just want to do the whole, I don't know, man, you know.
I mean, am I taking his spot? Is that what's happening?
No, listen.
No,
that's not. Yeah, it's his fucking busted ass computer that his fucking, this guy makes too much money. He's been talking about for what, how many years now, Mark? Like a year and a half now about getting a new fucking computer. Just go get a new computer, you cunt. First of all, you fucking twat, go get a fucking new computer. Secondly, why don't you just use your phone or something, guy? I mean, how fucked up is your life right now?
Guy.
So I was shooting Seth a Voxer, and it used to be the fart box, but Mark left because we weren't talking enough.
What are you talking about?
We had the chat, the fart box, and you left because we weren't talking enough.
Your farts are so fucking violent. I jump when that goes off. It sounds like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have years of practice of recording my fucking farts.
It sounds like somebody murdering a cat. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, listen, guys. I actually had a guy reach out to me. I mean, if you guys follow the comments on the channels and shit, like he's like, not listening to the podcast anymore because of Seth. And we're thinking about getting rid of Seth and getting us a new co-host because Seth is mean and nasty and says mean and nasty things, and
Seth's evolved a lot. He used to be really quiet and friendly, and now he's like,
and this guy's like,
must have bought a gun or something.
Yeah, this guy's
got to watch out. There's a lot of good money in this, so
I mean, dude, if he don't watch it, man, all the millions we make from this show. I mean, Mark's already paid his house off. Mine's paid off from this, and Seth, he's going to ruin his opportunity of paying that $1 million mansion off he just bought in Connecticut.
Yep. So, Mark, there's been people that have brought up your name. I'm on the board of directors for the IWCA.
Yes.
They've been wondering if you'd like to help out on the glass committee.
Yes, a matter of fact, Kevin Hargis and I have been going over that, what my responsibilities are. I know there's been some recent changes because I spoke to Peter last year, and it just wasn't good timing for me at the time because to commit, if I'm going to commit, I got to make sure I can fulfill it. And Kevin Hargis and I, actually last Thursday, were talking at length about it, and actually sent me the link and everything, and I started filling everything out. But yeah, I want to get in on that glass committee because I think I can offer some.
So just like throwing this. I mean, does the board talk about me at all? Does my name ever come up right at the board? No,
of course.
No.
Come on, man. Want to come on a committee?
No, I'm good. I'm good on committees, dude.
Social media.
No, I'm smooth
committee,
on
man.
that. I'm smooth on that, dude. I'm smooth on it.
Yeah, I definitely want to get more involved with that, and so if I was honestly intimidated by what my responsibility would be as far as meetings and everything else.
You got a lot of irons in the fire, does Mark?
Yeah, I got to make sure that I can commit. So
Mark's not a halfway guy. He's either doing it all the way or he ain't fucking doing it.
I've always figured if I'm going to do 5 things, do 5 things very well.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need to know about everything. Yeah. I just need to do whatever it is I'm interested in at the time. And I think I've even speaking with Cody, believe it or not, from Glass Renew, and actually some really positive discussions because the first thing when I heard he was on it, I'm like, well, him and I have had some issues, so I want to make sure all the air is cleared, and it's cleared. We're good. So
there's always always opinions and
further
stuff,
away.
I'm glad that you've talked with Kevin. It'd be good to have
not
you.
The phone.
You're such an advocate.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I only have so far on the desk. Jesus.
Do you have a phone now?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect angle.
Yes, perfect angle. It's got like both your chins in it, dude. It's perfect.
Let me get a Jacob. to slick back and look cool, but I'm trying.
I was just, let me finish my thought. I'm going to tell you, like, I understand that sometimes there are things that are said on this show that may not align with your beliefs but what you have to understand is nothing we are doing here is that fucking serious. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have noticed that yet or not. It's only been almost 4 years now, but this is the dick and fart show by a bunch of guys that clean glass. That's just what we do. You know what I mean? And we're not those fellers, you know. So if Seth's opinions or views on something that he experienced for probably like 20 years of his life bugs you, then this may not be the spot for you because Seth's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird, to be honest with you. Like, of all the things we've said, it's like
yeah.
I made a 20-second comment. Like, how fucking insecure in your thought pattern are you if, like, you can't handle, like, you knock on doors to convert people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Having a different
TJ, be quiet. Watch
like,
this.
that's
He's gonna hang
wild.
himself.
That's wild, dude.
Go ahead.
Wild. It's just like,
Hey, Mark. I love when I love when a plan comes together. Yeah.
If you're that secure in your features, then you shouldn't worry about what I have to say about it. You know what I mean? Like, you should just be like, oh, cool. Like, they think that. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I've offended a lot of other people. You know what I mean? It's just weird. That's all.
Hey, listen, just so everybody knows, we'll give you the inside joke. Me and Mark were like, we're going to get... Seth said he wasn't going to do that anymore, and we got him to do it anyways. I'm done. I'm never doing it again. I'm never doing that again. And then, like, not even fucking an hour. I wanted to get him, like, in the beginning of the show, but he kept fucking disconnected. I wanted to get him into it, like, instantly.
Right out of the
Yeah,
gate.
but he keeps fucking...
Oh, dude, I ordered a desktop 2 weeks ago. It shows up on Friday, so I'll have it all installed, but I'm like, it's on its last legs here. It's like 5 years old. There's so much crap on here.
Yeah, you know, that's the only thing that sucks. Like mine, like I went out and bought a Mac, you know, of course. And I feel like if I would have bought a regular, you know, Windows computer, I would have already replaced it by now. Because this one is really, I need a new one. I wish I could have afforded to buy one this year. I just can't. You know, I'm going to get one this summer, though. I'm going to get the new Mac this summer for sure. Actually, it might be here as soon as spring starts. I'll probably order it. And I'll probably need to order it now. Because it'll probably, you know... Russia, probably take 1,000 years. Russia's not letting any we're not allowed to have any Russian petroleum, so, you know.
Where'd you get that sign, TJ?
The one blinking behind me?
Yeah.
One of my dad's friends made that for me.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. My dad was like, I want to get you something for your birthday. I'm like, cool. And that was what it was. I liked it. Also, it's a mirror. And,
oh no shit!
Yeah, it's a mirror, and they've like laser etched the back of it.
Wow.
And it's like, you know, frosted it, and then they just put a light behind it. You know, it's like a light box, like a shadow box kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're high dollar here. No, unless you.
Yeah, dude.
You know, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not playing around. We're high dollar.
No, you see, I've got my T-shirt press right here. I mean, we are fucking living large around here, guy. I mean,
man, I want to see you make a T-shirt on air.
I'm like,
yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing. I don't know how to make the T-shirts. Only Jen knows how to do that. This is the thing. I can't, you know. But I'm going to learn because Jennifer can no longer do it. By the way, everybody, just so everyone knows, all the shirts are done. She finished them. She had 3 days off and spent them doing fucking working for you cocksmokers.
Nice.
Well, I wanted to add a little touch to it. A little personal touch to it. Yeah, baby. The OG card right there. I like that.
Always in my wallet just in case. Right. You never know when I got to flash this thing.
Right. So, so those are done. Once the Frank Rave t-shirt is uploaded on the website, you guys will also get your code. Everyone's going to get a code for that. You know, all the Patreon members will get a code for the Frank Rave shirt, so you can get that super cheap. And What else? Oh, everyone's cards will be going out with the shirts as well, so stuff will start rolling out the door now. I'm just like the type of person, and Mark knows this because Mark's really good for this too, is I don't like to go to the fucking post office. In fact, I fucking hate going to the fucking post office. And the thought of making like 6 or 7 trips to the post office, I won't do it. I won't do it. So I'm like, I'm not sending any of that shit out until it's all done. And then I will take envelopes, the envelopes with everybody's cards in them, that the new cards, because we have a bunch of new Patreon members. Your cards are going out. Not a bunch, and this is the crazy thing. This is the super crazy thing, is lately everyone that's been signing up for the Patreon, I had to put more hard body karate memberships up there because they were like, I can't do $20. I can't do it. I'm like, oh yeah. So I was like, I'll add more. You know what I mean? So that's super dope. So I think everyone that's a member now, like Craig Hendenzel and Grace and Damien. There's a couple other guys that are new Patreon members. All you guys will get the spring shirt. And hopefully I can work out the shirt that me and Mark wanted to do this time but couldn't. We'll see if that happens. If not, I'll go in another direction again. If I don't have permission to use it, I'll go in another direction. I'll figure something else out, which is most likely what I'm going to tell you guys right now. I'm probably going to just figure something else out. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Hey man, use that creative juices. Get those juices flowing.
I'm just going to go in another direction right now.
So Noah, do you still wash windows for Valcourt, or you run a crew? What's your job?
So when I moved to Virginia, I was operations manager down in Richmond. So I haven't been on the glass in ages. And now I'm no longer operations. I work with compliance for our company, helping our customers, with inspections and load testing and all that good stuff, trying to get buildings closer to compliance.
Keeping guys
safe.
Is
Valcourt strictly windows, or they do janitorial, or a lot of everything?
No janitorial, all exterior services.
Like Jacob was saying, where he's at, they do a lot of painting.
I don't know, that might be under our exterior services stuff, but
yeah.
It's mostly windows, is big, caulking, waterproofing, all that good stuff.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so
gotta miss because it's in your blood, dude.
I do, but luckily I've got some windows at home that occasionally I'll bust out my tools.
Do you have kids? You married? You have kids?
Married, no kids. I have a dog who's probably sitting outside my door right here, and a couple
I'm just thinking it needs to be like the 5th generation. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So I got a nephew. So I'll have to make sure he gets a squeegee soon in the future. He's see if we can't get a 5th generation.
I've met a lot of window cleaners since I've been doing this, but I've never met anyone that goes that far back into window. Like my dad had a partner that started in the 30s. And he kind of taught me, but I don't know anyone that goes back that far. That to me is like priceless, you know?
Yeah, I haven't met too many 4th generation window cleaners. I know a lot of 3rd generation, Scott Aaroncrantz, Vicky Couture down in A1 Orange down in Florida. She's 3rd generation.
Josh Schoaf's 3rd generation window cleaner.
Is he a 3rd generation?
Yeah.
Craig, he's 3rd generation.
Yeah. Very possible. I mean, technically, if you wanted to be technical about it, Grace is a 4th generation.
Grace is 4th. Yeah, we actually were, messaging, a few weeks back, and she's probably the last one I've.
That's because you guys probably message each other back and forth because from what I understand, you guys are window cleaning memorabilia like rivals. Like you guys bid on stuff all the time against each other, don't you?
Man, he's got some stuff that I was trying to get. When I started collecting this stuff, so I already had my own kind of, my own company stuff. So I started. Nobody else is collecting this stuff.
Yeah.
Wherever I was getting eBay, Etsy, all these places. Now there's, other bidders. And I'm just like, fuck. It's like, damn it. I'm just trying to build a collection here. But I'm glad Craig's getting it, with Grace, and, they're building a nice collection too.
Yeah.
I know at one point he was planning on possibly getting a booth at the IWCA show, and we were talking about maybe putting up a history booth. I think there was a history booth for the 25th anniversary show in Memphis, but I'd love to get my collection. You know, my
if you set up a booth, dude, you got to get with TJ months before, however long it takes, and stack that full of the history T-shirts, not for free.
Not for
You'll
free.
sell the shit out of those. They will sell the shit.
No, definitely not for free.
Yeah, originally my idea was to make it a nonprofit and try to have the collection travel like to local museums around the country.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, so like, you know, I could get it to Ohio, I could send stuff out to, you know, Idaho, Texas, wherever.
Oh, but I mean, you'd have to be so careful with that stuff because that stuff's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
I mean, in an industry this small, I mean, that stuff is irreplaceable. That's like that computer they found in the ocean. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, it's like, you know, what is that little? Isn't it? What did a computer? That
when they just found
that device they found in the water had a, you know.
Oh yeah, it's like they call it like a computer. It's like a simple computer. It's
what the hell?
It's like Greek or Roman.
What, like that? Is it the antediluvian device? Is that what it's called?
I should know that.
It's supposed to be like track the stars or something like that.
Some weird shit. Some weird shit. Mark would know what it is. He probably had one.
I thought we already discussed that. I don't know.
No, this is like an ancient computer.
What is a sextant? Or like an abacus?
No, it's... dude, I'm going to send you a link to it, dude, so you know what I'm talking about, so I don't look like a fucking total douchebag.
Man. I went to school for anthropology and archaeology. It's right up my alley.
Okay, you know what? That's a shirt that's not up there that I need to put up there, too. The Squeegee Life Dojo t-shirt. The hard body karate shirt's not up there.
Dude, I love this shirt.
Yeah, I need to get...
I have a lot of oil stains on it, but I need
to get that. I need to... Oh, hey, there it is. The Squeegee Life Dojo sticker, baby.
Oh, no, I was just thinking, too, I could, at some point, now that it's on the phone, I could prove to Mark that this isn't a stage I have set up in my garage. But, I needed to.
Oh, nice.
He's been saying it for 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's about time.
I mean, Seth. I mean, unfortunately, this is the only thing that matters to me is that we can hear Seth's voice. But we're going to see a lot of Adam's apple tonight.
I know. I'm trying to figure out.
Listen, this is the thing. This is the thing, though. At least, unlike Jacob Williams, there's actually an Adam's apple that's visible.
Yeah, there's like a neck you can actually kind of see. Yeah. I mean, like I'm a little chubby, but, you know.
Where you're sitting right now, like when you sit back like that, you're perfectly in frame, by the way.
Oh, back here?
Yeah. Now you look like regular Seth on a computer.
Frame him up.
Just so you know.
All right, cool. I can't tell.
And you sound good. You still sound good. And now we can see. I mean, you still kind of look like Sloth from Goonies, but.
Fair enough.
I mean, Seth.
It's the shape of the head.
I mean, I'm expecting Squidward to walk out of fucking Seth's ear at any moment now. This motherfucker looks like Ernie. This motherfucker looks like Beaker. He looks like Beaker from the Muppets.
No, I gotta go. I liked all the comparisons. The Squidward's house is maybe the most accurate. Good job.
Hey, you guys. Oh man, that's so good.
So how many thumbs up do we have on this podcast?
We got 14. We got 15 thumbs up and 15 people watching. It was a little higher, but you know, Seth, we chase everybody off. We get like when we come back from, like, we were there for a while. We were like around 30 to 40 watchers every episode, and then it turned like Seth goes on a tangent, or Mark goes on a tangent, or I go on a tangent, and we
tangent.
You fucking full of shit guy, you. We usually run about half of them off, and then we'll gain them back in some way, shape, or form, and then after a little while we'll run those people off too. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, the best shows are the ones that, like, you know, Steve-O or Luke is on. Those are the best ones. Nothing against you, Noah. You know what I mean? Nothing against you at all. But those are just the facts. All the fucking
I'm an asshole.
all the fucking nerds like those guys.
Well, they want to see them. It's not what you bring to window cleaning. It's what they bring to the newer window cleaners.
Right.
It's funny, these days, like there's a celebrity to window cleaning. There's names, and you just didn't have that.
How strange, right? How strange is that? Because when I started out in window cleaning, which is not very long ago, in 2004ish, 5ish, right around in between there, I was on, I was on social media. I had no fucking idea that there was like people on the internet, YouTube, doing any of this shit. I had no idea. No idea. Like, I just been like, Facebook started doing that algorithm shit, and they're like, here's a group you may be interested in. Pro window cleaning. I'm like, oh, really? And I was like, I'm not joining that. I don't want fucking people know what I'm doing, where I'm at. I'm already the guy that rides around with a ball peen hammer in my truck threatening people, you know what I mean? Like, I had some fucking guy. I pull up to do my Wendy's, and there's this fucking dude in there trying to sell the job. And of course, Mark knows, I've been doing those for over a decade. That dude's going to need a crowbar and a sniper rifle to get me out of there. You know what I mean? Because he's got to kill me and drag my body out of that bitch, because I just have that relationship with them. You know what I mean? So, and he's not going to be able... I've never raised the price on those, by the way. I know people... That's probably going to shock a lot of people, but that's a 2004 price I've been doing for all these years. I just don't... I'm not a raise the price on the guy that got you here guy. I'm dancing with the chick I brought to the dance. You know what I mean? I'm not that kind of guy, like, trying to... there's all these guys... Now dudes are like, you know what? From now on, I'm fucking charging for estimates. Well, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the latest one is fuel surcharge. I go, if you line item a fuel surcharge and you're not a delivery van, you're not UPS, you're not a freight company,
you are shooting yourself in the foot, man.
You got to get to work.
Yeah.
You're not delivering them anything.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me? Fuel surcharge? They're paying more for everything. What makes you think they're gonna? Yeah. You're a luxury service, dude.
I really, and I see it mostly in the pressure washing industry. These guys are like, I'm not charging for estimates. I'm no more free estimates. Yada yada yada. Bro, are you seriously gonna fucking pigeonhole yourself like that? Think about what you're doing. I can promise you this right now. I can walk out and pull out of my mossy fucking driveway with my mossy fucking house with my dirty windows and live a normal fucking life. You know what I mean?
Charging estimates, man? That's crazy.
That's craziness. That's crazy. I'm charging for estimates. Who pays for an estimate?
No.
Nobody pays.
I could see your cost of business going up with the cost of bleach going up and the cost of gas to run the power washer. But I mean,
charge more.
What's it? $6?
Yeah.
$6? $7? I mean, like, what are you losing? An extra $6 or $7?
Right.
It's at the end of the day.
And I don't know about anyone else, but I normally set my estimates are usually, I don't run right out and do an estimate. If somebody calls me and I'm like, hey, I'll be in that part of town, Wednesday, I'll come out and have a look, and they're like, great. As long as you tell people, hey, man, I'm going to be here this day, and you show up on that day and do what you say that you're going to do, you're most likely going to get that job. Even if 3 guys show up before you, if you do what you say you're going to do, I'm not going to make a person wait a week for an estimate, but they call me on a Tuesday, I'll be like, hey, man, I'll be out there, Wednesday or Thursday, whatever. And they're like,
90% of it is 90% of it is the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
That house that I picked up that's weekly with the skylight, I was there today, and when I first got the job, she goes to me, I always take the window cleaners to the back to show them that glass ceiling, and she goes, you were the only one that looked at it. You didn't say anything for about 30 seconds, and then you said, okay, no problem. She goes, the first guy turned around and walked away and said, there's nothing, I want nothing to do with that. The second guy said, I really don't know how to clean something like that. And she goes, it's not that they didn't understand or figure it out how to do it. It's the fact that they didn't know what they were talking about with anything they were proposing to do. She's like, but you came here and you spent a half hour with me discussing. You weren't selling me anything but yourself. You were selling me that, well, maybe we need to do this part every week and this part once a month, and this is going to hold up. But we'll know as time goes on what's going to hold up on the beach, you never know what you're going to walk into. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be honest. I
I
don't
sold the
think,
job not on price. I sold that job on the way I spoke to her
and that's
with confidence.
I'm the
You
same
know what I'm
way,
saying?
and I'm normally. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. I don't know about Mark because I know Mark's got a sense of humor, but I normally I probably crack a joke within the first 5 fucking seconds I'm talking to a person on the phone. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. I'm like, no, I'm on a ladder about 40 feet in the air. If I fall and die, it's cool. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
I'll
And they're like,
usually
oh my
wait till
god!
the
I'm like,
first
I'm just
time-
kidding. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean?
I'll wait till the first time I do a job. Like I did a job. We picked up a big estate, and the guy goes to me, I think your price is a little bit low. I knew he had someone else doing it, but for whatever reason he wasn't there. And I go, I think it's pretty fair. I said, I'm kind of thinking how long this is going to take. And then when I go, but I'll tell you what, let us do it for a month. And at the end of the month, if I'm not getting enough, I'm going to be honest with you and say, I shortcut myself. I'd appreciate that. I said, if I'm doing fine, we're not going to discuss it. and he goes, so the first time we get there, I bring 2 guys and we bust this thing out. And he goes, the other company came with 3 guys and they were here all day. You guys are here for 2.5 hours. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Move in? I go, that's why this is what we do. You know, I'm not here.
That's what I tell.
You don't want to see me.
Yeah, that's what I
you
tell
know?
my customers. I'm like, well, there's levels to this. You know what I mean? There's
Sure.
there's guys that are like okay at this, and then there's guys like this is what I do. You know what I mean? And John Sacco, what I meant is you said there's a way to do it. Back in the day, we used to charge for estimates and deduct it from the main price if we got the job. So what I meant was if you were saying free estimates, you're lying to your customer because it's technically not a free estimate. You're charging.
Well, it's just like putting out a flyer, right, or a door hanger,
Yeah.
or anything of the sort that says 10% off the first cleaning. Well, if you haven't
sure.
priced the job yet, that means nothing.
Yeah, right.
You're
Yeah.
just building that into the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I mean,
going to
you're
give
a
you
liar.
25% off. What you don't know is
50% off.
no matter what, this house was going to be this much. You just don't know it. You know what I mean? I'll just tack that 25% on the other side. Let's be honest. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not trying to. Like, when I see that, like, there's a couple local guys who do that. I'm just like, okay. You know what I mean? And we'll like bid the same house, and she'll be like, "Well, this." I was like, "Well, he would have. That's what he's gonna fucking charge anyways." You know what I mean? Because we're both. Because I know. Because I talked to him on the phone. He's like, "Hey, where are you gonna be?" And that's the cool thing. There's one guy in town that always calls me because we're like we work in the same neighborhoods a lot, and he usually every couple of years he'll call me and he'll be like, "Hey, man, where are you at?" He goes, "This is where I'm at. Where are you at?" And I'm like, I tell him, and he's like, "Can we like?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's." I was like, every time I talk to him, I'm like, well, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Every year I tend to bump it up a little. Not crazy, but and that's only on new customers. I don't do that to pre-existing people. You know what I mean? Unless the scope of work changes, the price stays the same. You know what I mean? So if you were lucky enough to get in on the bottom floor of Squeegee Life Enterprises, then you're fucking set up. You know what I mean? You got
But
the...
you know what? If you do building work, okay, if someone calls me for a building, I say, okay, I need either building manager or chief engineer, someone who can get me any access I want. Okay, so what's that going to entail? I need to see your roof. I need to see your certification on your tiebacks if it's a rope job. If you don't have that, I need to see what's up there. I go, and I need a half hour with somebody. That right there, I never considered charging for that. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to get my half hour back one way or another.
Yeah.
If I don't work for them, I will maybe 5 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're trying to price a job. You're trying to put,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if I went and I'm going to go on Google Earth and look at your building and here's your price, how well thought out is that? You know what I'm saying?
Not.
No.
Yeah.
You can use it for certain things. I'm not gonna lie. Like some house wash jobs, I'll look at Google Earth. Be like, I got an idea.
So essentially,
You know what I mean?
what Seth's trying to do is justify him being lazy by saying that, you know.
100%.
Well, I'll admit.
Hey, listen,
I
it
will
works
always-
sometimes.
I will always look at it on the internet just so I know what I'm walking into. And then a lot of times, like I get a lot of calls. We have all these new residential / commercial properties going in where they're like 4 to 5 stories, condos on the top and retail on the first floor, right? So, and they're usually right up against the street with a sidewalk, so you're not getting much equipment in there. And it seemed to be the big building boom over the last 5 to 10 years. But my point is, generally, I'll look at it online and then I'll I'll call them back. I'm like, look, I need to ask you a question because generally 5, 6, 4-story buildings don't have tiebacks. That's a rope access job. Do you have tiebacks? And they're like, no. And I go, and you have railings in front of the windows, so we can't do it from the ground without tiebacks. And it's just because I don't want the job, but I always call back and go, we can't legally do your windows. You might find someone to do it. I'm just not that guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me nicely bowing out and saying, keep my number for down the road.
Sure.
But
it wasn't the
I don't
idea
want
with that.
You want to be safe than sorry, and I'm always been an advocate, and it's probably an old school approach. Getting out to the building, checking it out, meeting the customer if you can, or at least a building engineer. Make that connection is huge, especially in our industry, with commercial.
Oh, you have to, yeah. I mean, look,
hey,
because
Sacco,
it's easy
I'm not
to lose your shirt.
I'm not shitting on I'm not shitting on you, brother. You know what I mean? If you want to charge people for estimates, that's cool. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I noticed a trend in pressure washing groups and other places that people are like, I'm charging for estimates now. And I just think that's whack as fuck. You know what I mean? You do you. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. I'm just like, you probably think Kiss is a great band, and I think they blow a fucking herd of goats. You know what I mean? So,
I think in window cleaning, it's super short-sighted. You know what I mean? Like letting inflation, what's going on in the world dictate how you run your business is going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And if you have a system where you can look at stuff online, look at it online. Yeah. I'd say probably 25% of my estimates I look at online. The other 75,
we know a dude that will sell you a fucking window job and had never been to your house and never even looked at it. He just lets you tell you how many windows he's got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the one thing, Noah, that I don't know if you put them up very often because, like I said, I like to look at the invoices just to see what in 1918 they were doing. Mm-hmm. But I would rather see proposals, the way they're written, the scope of work. That is just... Yeah. Do you have proposals?
I've got a whole drawer full of, I couldn't keep everything, and I almost wanted to cry when I was cleaning stuff out of our shop. I was just like, fuck. I was like,
all the stuff you couldn't keep.
I wish I could have kept everything, but moving cross states, I was just like, fuck. I was like, god damn. So I tried to hold on to, some of our older buildings that we had. But yeah, some of the old invoices, some of the old, proposals, just the language that they were using. Like, and, today, I think it was today or yesterday, I posted something, it was a price increase from 1946. It was due to the cost of labor and, brushes and chamois and all the things that go into it, it increased. So, our company just went ahead and started, increasing customers. And most of them, didn't have an issue with it, as long as service remained the same because, shit happens, now dealing with kind of the same things.
Yeah.
So through the family history, what was, you might not be able to answer this accurately, what was the longest run, meaning one account you had for 60 years, 50 years? What was the
most tenured window cleaner? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, what account
okay.
the family company clean?
Oh,
wow.
So we did all of Northwestern Hospital in Chicago, which is one of the bigger hospitals in Chicago, and we started it in 1943, and I think we ended up losing it in 2016 or 2017.
Wow! Like, who was the piece of shit? Yeah. Who was the piece of shit that fucking, like, hey, we went with someone else? Who's the dickhead that did that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, hey, we've been cleaning this since the 40s. Well, we're gonna get Joe Blow's window cleaning to do it now. He's like $12 cheaper. Fuck you.
It was sad, and we went through the bid. We had lost all our contacts. They'd all turned over, and actually, my dad was actually going through chemotherapy at the time. We were doing walkthroughs and trying to get our new bids out, and we just couldn't do it. And one of the reasons why we lost so much work towards the end was we weren't. My dad had a hand in the I-14. I was fortunate enough to sit on the I-14 committee and the A-120 and some of these committees, but since we were so involved in it, we wanted to follow it, and so we weren't willing to, share a lot of buildings that were meant for stage. And so, companies in Chicago were willing to share 600, 700, 800-foot buildings where we just weren't willing to, so they were able to, undercut the prices. And that gradually you just start losing things,
Right.
and just try to hold on. That was mostly in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I ran our non-union company that was in the suburbs, so we were dealing mostly like mid rises and storefronts, residential.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys were able to own two companies, one union, one non-union. That wasn't like a problem for the union.
So we had two separate shops at one point. So we had our non-union shop was in one building, union shop was in another, and just separate entities. We had a lot of different trade names that we were dealing with, and that's kind of common now. I can. There's a few companies in Chicago that still run union shops, non-union shops.
Mm-hmm.
The union isn't too terribly strong in Chicago. They come out I think it's every 3 years for union negotiations. They'll strike one building for every company and try to make a move on wages and stuff, which is fine. I think every window cleaner.
So what is the starting union wage in Chicago?
I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that with
I'll tell you this,
everything
man.
they pay into, everything that they get, and it's tough.
Union's fucking union, man, and union's good.
Union.
Union's good in a lot of ways, but it's also it can be bad too. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like just look what the UAW did in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, they pretty much priced themselves out of fucking jobs. You know what I mean? Everything went to fucking Mexico. They couldn't afford to do it anymore.
They weren't even giving the union guys union cards in Chicago.
Right.
Like they'd kind of just appear when they needed to, and and then they'd disappear for a while, and you feel bad for the guys.
Mm-hmm.
But they, those guys, there's a system in place, journeymen, apprentices.
Like my grandfather was a Teamster. My grandpa Red, he was a Teamster, and back in the days when, like Jimmy Hoffa days, when that shit was starting out, you know what I mean? Like, they busted heads and shot each other and, you know what I mean? Killed people over that shit, you know what I mean? And then, like, my grandfather and on my mom's side, he's a union guy, he worked for he's been at UAW for a long time because he worked at NASA, worked at GM, you know what I mean? My uncle the same way, and, those motherfuckers are feverish about that shit, you know what I mean? Like, so I grew up with it, so I kind of understand it.
Sure. Especially back in the day.
Yeah, I even joined the Carpenters Union when I got out of school, you know what I mean? I thought that was the thing to do, you know what I mean? But you can quickly see, like, I worked in a UAW factory when I got, for about 3 months. What I was trying to do is I was trying to get into the maintenance department, get into skilled trades, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And, because I went to school. That's what I wanted to do, you know what I mean? I was going to be a carpenter and, do whatever, you know what I mean? And there's always those skilled trades kind of jobs in those factories. And, the politics involved in that shit is fucking crazy, man. I just couldn't keep up with it. I don't have the temperament for it, you know what I mean? There's just, like, a lot of dudes that did not do shit in those factories. Nothing. You know what I mean? But wanted the most money they could absolutely get for doing the least amount of fucking work they possibly could.
Yeah. Like a county job.
Yeah. Like fucking 4 guys standing around a fucking hole in the ground leaning on shovels while one guy's in a backhoe doing all the fucking work.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I have in my collection, I've got a whole folder of all the union negotiation, like, contracts from the 40s up until the 90s or so, like, from my grandfather up, and those are just fun to, like, go through and see what they, what things were changing. But union pins, like pinbacks, are one of my favorite things to collect. I've got from the 30s, 40s, 50s that I've found, and just random artifacts.
That's cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm a knick-knack kind of guy too. I like to have little things like that. Like, I really want that squeegee around Mark's neck. Not that particular one, but one of my own. That's like little things like tchotchkes like that. I just love that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have all my grandfather's all his pinback, like his Masonic pinbacks, like from
nice.
like like 30 years in, 20 years in, you know, like this special thing that they did, I got all like a fucking jewelry box full of shit
That's
like that.
cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
That's
the lodge, the Freemasons, you know, I got all that
I think
shit.
that sentimental thing comes out as we get older. We
Yes.
start to,
Yes.
because younger you could have had so much more of it, but it was like, that's garbage. You know what I'm saying? Now you're like, I would love to have that.
My only regret with any of that is not becoming a Mason when I was younger. That was the only. I wish I would have, you know, gotten into it younger. You know what I mean? And did the thing. You know what I mean? That's what he wanted. I wanted to do it while he was alive. I just didn't. You know, you got to be in the right spot in your life to commit yourself to that. You can't just like half-ass do that. You have to be all in on that. You know what I mean? My grandfather dedicated a lot of fucking time to that. And he never drank any goat's blood or anything. You know, he's just a regular dude. You know what I mean? So, you know, before I get any fucking private mess, you know your grandfather worshiped the devil. You know? I'm like, he did?
I found out that my grandfather was a Mason for a while, and then I think he had to leave or something when he married my grandmother, but I had no idea about it. And I was like, my dad like dropped that nugget on me. I was like, what? I was like, you're fucking kidding me? I was like, yeah, was grandfather ever involved in, you know, any cool, like, you know, any lodges or any, you know, he's like, oh yeah, he's a Mason. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. My grandfather was a 32nd degree Mason in the Science Lodge. That was his thing. And he was gone a bunch. You know what I mean? You know, there's a lot of time that goes into that. And I just don't, you know, I'll probably most likely do it when Uriah's out of school is probably what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? There's just so much involved. And there's a lot of, my grandfather did a lot of nice things for people. You know what I mean? That's a very charitable organization, whether people want to believe that or not. They're not fucking devil worshippers, man. Like, every time I see somebody comment some shit like that, like on Facebook or YouTube, like, the fuck Freemasons, fucking Illuminati, bro, your grandfather. Like, dude, I want to fight you, man. Like, you don't even know, dude. Like, if you spent 5 minutes with my grandfather, you'd be like, oh, this guy's not trying to take over the world at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just wants to kill cats.
Yeah.
So, Mark, my wife had seen your, you know, the squeegee that you've got like from across the way, and she's like, Noah, do you see that? She's like, do you see that squeegee? I was like, yeah, I know. It's fucking, it's Mark over there. He's got a squeegee running.
Yeah, that was a show. Like, I put it away a lot of times at the trade show and whatnot, just because it, you know, I don't like a lot of attention, you know.
Sure.
But I mean, it is something that attracts the average window cleaner over. Like, hey, you know, where do I get that? You know what I'm saying?
I know you were talking about that. I think it was on the last podcast.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. But
I have a mold.
I totally get
that. If anybody wants it and you've got a bunch of old gold to what
would be
down.
cool? What would be cool? I mean, yeah, but like, couldn't you just get us a price on how much it would cost to have one made? Couldn't you?
Yeah.
Couldn't you, like,
without melting anything down? Yeah. Like I said, it's without the diamond, just the gold at today's prices are between $700 and $800.
I think,
you know, it's heavy.
I think I'm going to have that done. I think I'm having that done this year.
Yeah. I mean, I have a
do a pinky ring. You should do a pinky ring, TJ. A squeegee pinky ring.
Like,
you punch them in the head.
Yeah, just what up?
Yeah, what up? No, what I should do is like the 4-finger ring. With, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like the 1980s rapper that said, like, ice. You know what I mean? But instead, it's just a big fucking squeegee, like, BAM! You know what I mean? That shit would be dope, bro. That shit would be dope, bro.
I like that.
We need more industry specific, you know, fun things for us.
Yeah, we definitely
we don't have too much.
Let's be real. It's like finding artifacts, you know, or old squeegees or old. It's just not around because it's a teeny tiny industry, and most of that shit got chucked away when someone finished up. Right. They didn't save it. You know, that guy John that worked for me came up from Block and Tackle, and in the I want to say it was probably, maybe Noah, you know, when they transferred over from Block and Tackle, the original rack and bars was taken from caving and whatnot and changed over, and at that point, finding ropes that would work well with, you know, the rack and bar descenders was always a challenge, but it was so much less equipment than traditional. But he gave me, I have a couple, I'll send you some pictures. of some very primitive descenders that were first designed early into Fitch and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Guys were trying to figure out how to make a friction rack,
Sure.
and I have one that hangs in my shop, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna just play around with this on a 4-story, but I have no idea how to even rig it. You know what I'm saying? It's like looks like nothing else. That
Hey, I want to play with this thing. I might fall and die, but I'm going to play around with this.
I'm going to risk my life to see if this thing works.
Yeah.
Cylinders. The cylinders were one of the first things, and those were made for like single point suspension, and then they were actually running 2 ropes through them.
Yeah.
For many years.
Yeah, they still make the Sky Genie and the Frost Rope Rider, and there's another one that's got one out there. I rode one once. They were smooth. They were cool, but they spin the rope. Okay, I had a guy come to work for me. I've told this story before on a 6 or 7-story building, and he's like, I have all my own gear, and he shows up with a chair, and he had a Sky Genie cylinder, and I'm like, I don't think that's a good choice for this job. Do you know how to use rack and bar? He's like, I've used it a couple times, but I'm comfortable with this. And he goes, I don't understand why you don't like it. And I go, it's not that I don't like it. I said, I don't like the way it spins the rope, but I said, this job has bushes. Well, what happened was we were dropping side by side, like 3 wides. And so we're 10 feet between us. And all of a sudden he can't go down anymore because his rope had coiled up in the bushes. And he's trying to rip the bush out of the ground. He's like 30, 40 feet in there. I'm like, you need to just stay there. Let me go down. And all entangled. It was knotted up in the bushes and everything. And I'm I told you,
it's not with a safety line too. It just was
everything. Both lines went spun around and went into the bushes, and that was it. And then he refused to use it again because I'm like, just pull your tail up, pull the tail up, and hook it to your chair, but you can't because it's got to be able to spin. You know what I'm saying? And then he was afraid of it happening again, and I was like, and he didn't want to use the rack and bar. It was a nightmare, But
our guys liked we had moved away from the rack and bar, and I think like half our guys used cylinders, half our guys liked the Fisk Descender, which is an old school, device.
Upside down figure 8, yeah.
Exactly.
I think they're dangerous though, man. If it gets out of your hands.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like a fan of that. Yeah.
It's basically a figure 8 with a couple,
with ears on it,
either end to wrap into.
No, I bought a SRT after I saw the Dirty Jobs episode, and I spoke to a couple guys in Hawaii because it's real common to use a SRT out there, and I like the SRT. It's a comfortable descender, but now there's a bunch of new stuff out now that looks really high tech. That if I was younger, I'd be into it.
There's so much just idiot proof devices, not idiot proof obviously, but stuff that's much more user friendly than there ever was in the past, which is great. It's better for the guys. If they can feel safer, and I have always said this, you've got to trust your equipment. If you don't trust your equipment, you've got nothing. So
you're not. Yeah. Well, it's the ones that are like Michael Draper and I were talking, and he's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm like, it's not the guys that are fearless that you want. It's the guys that still respect the height.
Oh, sure.
Because if they show up and they're daredevils, I'm not interested in working with them anymore.
Have a healthy fear. Yeah. You don't want a complete cowboy out there because then mistakes can happen,
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Even, being as an operations manager for a lot of years, still having myself as an operations manager having anxiety every day to make sure guys come home safely and that that they're checking everything, because at the end of the day it comes to you. That everything, the equipment that they're using, that's the buildings that you're sending them to. And that's why I'm really happy to be working with compliance in a way, because I've seen so many shitty buildings out there, and helping buildings get a little bit better for the guys makes it completely worth it.
We have a lot of buildings here that are in the 8 to 10 story range, maybe even 7-story range, that once they mandated certified tiebacks, I had buildings calling me that have never called me and said, hey, we got this building, want you to come look at it. And I'd go to the building and I'm like, I need to see the roof. Well, I'm going to just tell you right now, there's no anchor points on there. I go, well, that's why your guy's not here anymore. What do you want me to do for you? You want me to work illegally? You want me to put my guys at risk? My wallet's never coming before their life. That's not going to happen. Well, they're going to have that big pole. I go 70 feet, 75 feet, not happening.
Right. Well, I mean, all you need, and Phil can do it.
Yeah. Well, there. I'm not Phil.
You know, he's got a
That's
hammer
like
and a
Phil will
carbon
pump.
fiber.
Hey, Phil will pump that fucking Zep 70 feet in the air and clean them windows like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
will.
That's funny that
That's
Noah
it,
mentioned Phil walking around with that piece of tubing. We were talking about that a couple of
I
days.
saw I think he was in between your booth and
Yeah.
Soren's booth next
Yes.
to it. I was just he was
Yeah.
on his hands and knees beating that piece of with a
Yeah.
hammer.
Yeah.
Is he like fucking autistic or something?
I don't know.
Like, I just don't understand how you go a whole trade show, like spending like 80% of your time fucking walking around smacking a fucking, like, I mean,
Yeah.
how many people walked up to him and like, dude, will you shut up?
Well, at some point when Noah saw him is when either Alex or someone said to him, "Look, why don't you take that somewhere else? That's annoying." Because it was loud. I'm telling you, you could hear it through the whole convention hall. You know.
Well, look, Phil's great.
Yes.
he's been a supporter of the industry for a long time.
Yes,
And
yes.
he used to have booths all the time. He's always have booths, and he's been always in the window cleaning competitions. I go back through my old American window cleaners. Always, I'm always going thumbing through them for like old ads and just old articles. Just fun to go through. If you guys haven't, some of the younger guys in the industry, if you haven't seen them, I think you can go on WCR's website and through American Window Cleaner and check out the old vintage,
Yeah, I was subscribed to it for a while, and I never got a single magazine. Before it was taken over, I probably a membership for 3 years, never received a single magazine. Not,
No,
But that's
not
interesting because
one.
it was the opposite. Like for my dad, because he went to, and the IWC was in its infancy. I think we went to one of the first trade shows. It was in Miramar, Florida, and all of a sudden he started getting the magazine. Never ordered it, and it was quarterly, I believe. It would just show up, and he'd look through it, and then he'd just hand it to me, and I'd read cover to cover on that thing. It was the old issues. I wish you could still buy them. I'd love to have a set. You probably have a full set.
Well, I can tell you.
I've got most of them, throughout the years. I don't have like the first 10 issues, but I've got from like issue 12 to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Up until when Mike Draper took it over.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Cool.
Someone told me Phil may be a high-functioning Asperger. Is that what that?
Maybe.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Asperger's.
Okay.
Yeah.
He seems a little.
That's how you say it on top, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll gladly pay you for a burger today.
I mean, I know I got on him last podcast. I really went at him and everything, but he really fucking pisses me off sometimes, man. Like shit, man.
He's a good guy. He just
I
can't
know.
help
I'm
it.
not saying that he's not a good guy. I'm just saying, why would you why you want to fucking like burn a bridge with me for? I've never done anything fucking to you before. Why would you come at me like that? I don't understand it. Like, are you fucking bored or something? You know what I mean?
I'm not used to burning bridges in our industry. It's a losing battle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't well, let's just all be cool and shit. I mean, unless you're Perry Tate, I mean, you can go fuck himself. You know what I mean? But outside of that, you know what I mean? Why? I mean, there's no point in it. It gets us nowhere. Why? I mean, come on, man. I'm one of your greatest champions. You know what I mean? Of the sim pole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I love those fucking things. But I mean, like, don't be a dick. You know?
Yeah, you guys, you've been to bat for him.
I've been to bat for Philip quite a few times, you know what I mean? So much so that strangers are hitting me up like, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, man, like, hey. Well, I watched your video and you said it, and I'm like, just like, listen, man, have some patience. The guy's, he's all over the place. Just,
What would you say his best pole is? I know you like the 22. Is that what it is?
The Sim 22 is the best sim pole, in my opinion. I like the Shogun. I mean, of course, the Shogun was me and Jason's kind of brainchild. We did a lot of blending of poles. We had both had Excaliburs. We both had Sim 22s, and we were like using the 22 on the top and the Excalibur on the bottom. And Jason wasn't too fond of that combination, but I really was. And but I just that. I mean, the Shogun. It's like I don't want to use it. It's
too shiny
so fucking nice. I don't want to use it. You know, it's
That's the thing. Some
so
of these poles
nice.
are so beautiful.
Yes,
and feel so good in my hands that I never want to fucking use them. I'm just like, I just want to hold it. And
The
just, like, hang out
Shogun,
with
the
it.
Shogun that I have, every single section says simple Shogun section 1, section 2, and it's all like beautifully done. And I'm just like, man, I hate to use this thing. But my Sim 22, I beat the dog shit out of that pole. And it's still solid, man. It's just a great pole, man. It's a great pole. Very good pole. That's my favorite one he's got. And apparently now he's got a new one.
I use the Excalibur. I keep that and a Zero. And depending on, one of them set up with a scrub, and the other one is set up, with water fed, or I can change them out to just a traditional tip. But that Excalibur is good because you can beat it up, and it just, it just doesn't quit.
It's a nice, yeah. I mean, the coffee can size add-on sections, I'm not a huge fan of. I wish he wouldn't have got away from the 8989 add-on sections. He went back to the, like, I'm gonna do the Sim Space, Sim Sky. He's got
power pole.
Yeah, he's the fucking ends. It's like this big around. It's like, dude.
Yeah. Do you guys hear of, like, bigger companies using, carbon fiber trad poles, or are they still, more of like the Gerlich?
I had a guy stop me last week. I was talking about on last week's podcast, and he's like, yeah, man, I just finally got around to buying carbon fiber poles. And I come out of this building, he's like, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm leaning on my original, my OG, trad 12. And he's like, what's that? I was like, oh, and I handed it to him. He's like, did you take an old... And I was like, no. I said, this is a carbon fiber. This is like purpose-built carbon fiber treble. He's like, seriously? And they all got the green Unger Optilock poles. And they're like checking mine out. And they're like, well, what's this, 8 foot? I was like, no, that's 12 foot. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. They're all fucking checking out. Oh, this fucking thing's cool. And then I tell them how much it is. Oh, fuck that.
I think no, to answer your question.
What are you going to get, though?
What I see the larger companies, because the cost of... the trad pole, not so much that it's not going to last, but guys just beat the crap out of them. Yeah, they give them a $30 blue collar Home Depot pole,
Sure, yeah, and that's what I've seen too. Is it's the cost, and plus the guys, it's hard to they're used to a certain lean on the those Gerlich poles or whatever pole you're using, and the rigidness of it. But I've been trying to think of something for those. The high-rise pole work guys that are using, because if you're using high-rise, you're going to be using a pole occasionally.
And what's a perfect pole for that? The J2. Yeah. That little short, stubby 3-section.
Yeah.
Plus it's compact. You can hang it, put a little lanyard cord on it, and hang it off the side of the chair. It'll go like 9 feet in total or something like that, or 8 feet. But usually that's all you need.
That's what I would like to see a manufacturer come up with. And I've spoken to a few people, is like, the connection from a pole to the chair, and something that you can attach to.
Yeah, my guys usually just take.
Oh yeah.
They'll put a piece of rope on the back, run electrical tape over it, a zip tie, and then they just hook it on the chair, with a tie cord on it. But
sure. I don't have a J2, but I've got a small Unger transformer box.
And you've seen one drop, like
like a javelin.
Yeah,
little tiny
sticks in a roof like nothing. So that's the Unger one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that came in the transformer box.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I couldn't help myself, and I busted it all out. Jennifer used it to paint with, so there's little Jennifer fingerprints on there. Right there's a little tiny baby Jennifer fingerprint right there. But I told Chris, I was like, dude, is there any more of those left? And he's like, yeah. So I have a unopened box. It's actually still in the WCR shipping box. The box that the transformer box comes in and maintains its integrity, because one day it might be like the Babe Ruth card. You never know.
You never know, man.
You never know.
I'm a collector. Shit, I've got all sorts of crap.
Jennifer fucking hates that she hates it. She hates that I have. She just hates it. You know what I mean? But as soon as it gets warm out, I'm moving all of this shit fully into the shop, and then she'll have her house. You know what I mean? Like, I have so much window cleaning shit. Like, hey, try this out. Test this. Why don't you test that? Test this. Test that. You know what I mean? And I just have a lot of shit everywhere, and she's done with it. She's had enough.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. When we closed up shop, I've probably got enough equipment to start my own company.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You think you'd ever?
First
You think you'd
yeah.
ever do that? No,
A
maybe
gang box
retirement.
of
You
shit.
think you'd ever do that? Like
I don't know.
retirement,
You know,
maybe? Or...
Like a old dude like storefront route when you're
Yeah.
done doing what you're doing.
maybe, I've made sure that, the trade names, I'm hoping that they're still, active, that possibly one day, maybe going back to Chicago. I don't know, but I wanted to keep that as a possibility, perhaps for my nephew or, who knows,
Right, right. Man, that's cool that you're like a steward of that.
Yeah,
Right.
and I don't want to say I would never do it and I do miss being, I miss owning a company. Obviously, it's, there's something to it.
Right.
But stepping back and being able to work with, other people was nice too. It's just.
I'm gonna ask you a personal question. How
Sure.
hard was it to make that decision? Of
Hardest decision of my entire life.
had to be, right? Yeah.
My entire life, hardest decision. I felt like I was letting my family down, my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather. I felt like I was letting everybody down, but I wasn't in a position, and I didn't own the company, so it was like my mother. She
Yeah.
had the company. It was to her, and I couldn't financially do it at the time. It was just something that was out of my hands that I couldn't do it. And if I did, I'd have to clean the house probably and, start from scratch. But hoping maybe one day, who knows, but yeah, definitely the hardest decision I've ever had to make. A lot of tough decisions that year,
I'm sure. Yeah.
leaving Chicago, coming to Virginia with no family, aside from my wife and my dog who's asleep in the corner. It was tough. But I'm happy to still be in the industry. I didn't think I'd love it as much as I have, and it just keeps growing on me. And I think it's the history aspect.
Yeah.
It's been and it's been fun. This has been a passion project for window cleaning history, and like I said, I think it stemmed from my own personal. I had a Instagram for my old company, and then just kind of branched from there. And it's been a passion project, and I've enjoyed doing it, and hopefully everybody else, that follows along, gets something out of it, at least a perspective on what things used to be.
How many states is Valcourt in? I know they're all over the place.
Shit. All the way up to, Jersey, all the way down to, we're in Florida. Texas now, California. We've done some mergers with some other companies, so it's grown.
It's
a
not
little bit.
franchised, right? It's just opening divisions and divisions and divisions.
Yeah, there's a bit of a franchise aspect to it. For parts of it, but not in others. But yeah, it's been interesting to come from my own family business, that was what it was, to something completely different. But it's worked out, and I like how things have panned out as far as the company goes and the way they see things. And again, just happy to be in the industry. But
how long have they been around?
Shit. I think Jeff Valcourt opened it up in the 80s. So it's been about 30 some years.
That's cool.
Yeah. And, I've known the company for a long time. So since I was a kid, I went to my first IWCA convention when I was 11. And I think it was in San Diego. And then my second one was in West Palm in like 93 or around there. And just, growing up with those people. And then when I finally got into the business really professionally, that's who my dad was hanging out with, were some of these old timers. They'd hate that I say that, but, they became my friends, my peers in the industry. So, learned a lot from everybody. Everybody's been, great in the industry.
So, speaking of the IWCA, how do you see the future of that going? Do you think the future's bright?
I think it's,
does it need
very
some
bright.
work? I mean, is there, What do you
Always
think?
needs work, but we've got the right people in place
Good.
that are willing to put in the time and a lot of great energy. The culture's really changed. When I first got on the board in 2010, there's a lot of infighting, and there's a big pain in the ass to get things done. You know, financially we were not in a great spot, but we've turned things around over the last handful of years with great leadership, and just good moves. And
Awesome.
the people that are willing to put in their time, or the culture's really changed. And I it's good to see more people in the trade shows, more people becoming members. We're trying our best to advocate for every window cleaner, every type of business, every size company. It's really exciting to see. I've been on the board for a total of, I don't know, 9.5 years or so, since 2010, and it's really great to see, and the passion that people put in and the excitement that it brings. Hopefully it catches on with some of the newer folks in the industry. I think there's a lot to offer, safety-wise, education-wise.
You just got to get the right people involved to champion it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all about the champions.
To the younger crowd, or the what I mean. The people like the people that aren't aware, that maybe think it's still the old boys club. You know what I mean?
That's what it was.
To kind of get someone to kind of like reduce that stigma.
Yeah, I think it's slowly getting there. It was a good old boys club. They're still there, but these are people that are very much approachable. Like,
right.
They're willing to share their knowledge. I feel like I'm becoming an old fart in the industry, and it's weird. I'm 41, but I've been in it my entire life.
Yeah,
I was gonna go to one, but apparently, like, there's a price on my head, and if I go, I'm probably gonna get beat up. So yeah, there's people.
Got a price on your head.
There's people looking for me at the IWCA, and they want to fight. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stay in the safety of my own home.
You're always more than welcome.
I'm gonna stay in the safety. I'm gonna stay.
You got my back.
Right? I'm gonna stay in the safety of my own home. I don't want to leave my bubble and get beat up. I try to tell these fucking guys, like, listen, I'm an actual felon. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I don't just say that shit. You know what I mean?
Gotta play cool.
Yeah. I'm like an actual felon. Like, I'm trying not to get any more trouble. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be. I'm a dad now. You know what I mean? I don't want to roll around. I'm chubby now. I don't want to be sweaty. You know what I mean? So I can assure you that there will be no meeting. Like, this ain't going to be an MMA match. I'm going to stick my fucking finger in your eyeball to the second knuckle, and I'm going to bite your dick off. You know what I mean? I'm not losing. I'm just like, yeah,
Right?
Listen, man, I'm going for the jugular. I'm going for the jugular. I'm too old for that shit. You know what I mean? But I tell you, this podcast, I want you to come back. I would really like you to come back. I would really like to do a show in the future if we could kind of like do some like window cleaning history, like show and tell. I think that would be fucking super awesome for the guys. I think people would really tune into that, man.
Let's definitely do this again, and I'll make sure I've got some show and tell. I'll bring out that old Squeegee. I actually forgot from my office. I meant to bring that in.
That would be so good, man. Like I said, this is
show you some of these old ass Squeegees.
That's fucking cool as shit to me.
The early
man.
1900s.
Yeah.
That's so rad. But I just, again, it's super, super, super dope that you came on. I've been me and Mark have been wanting to have, we started talking about this really heavily last year.
That's Seth.
Yeah.
Fuck Seth.
Yeah, I'm here.
I appreciate you guys having me, and I'll definitely be on again whenever you guys are in need.
Right. Well, I think it's better. I think I'm just throwing this out there. I think it's better if you just tell us when you're able to do it, and we'll go from there. Because, like I said, it's like getting Noah on this podcast. It's been like herding cats. It's been really tough. It's yeah. But I do appreciate the fact you're like, listen, man. I'm not going on nobody else's show until I come on yours first, and you did that. So we expect to see Noah do the rounds. He's probably going to go on. He's probably going to be on the Jersey show and the Jersey and Steve show and the Jersey and Steve show and then the Steve and Jersey show. He's probably going to do all of those. You know what I mean?
That's right. They got a Monday.
Yeah, they do
show?
a Monday night deal.
Night
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I don't know if I'm a cool kid, so.
I know you're definitely cool. No, you're definitely cool, dude. Don't get it
I
twisted.
mean, Jersey's on that show, so you're definitely a cool kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Jersey doesn't even watch this podcast anymore. He must be way too busy now.
He's a tall dork.
And then he finally realized he couldn't get away with stealing our material.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell you, Noah, that I really appreciate all your support over the years with the Squeegee Life thing. I really appreciate that. I definitely appreciate you loaning me the rights to use that patent drawing for that T-shirt, because like I said, it's one of the it's honestly the T-shirt that really got everybody talking about us. It honestly is. Here. So I really appreciate you doing that, and I super appreciate you watching or coming on the show tonight, and of course watching. He watches the shows too. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a great dude. He's actually one of you guys. Like he's actually one of the scumbags. If I can't
watch it live, I'm always listening to it in the office. Or in the car or something, I got.
You can't listen to this in the office. You must have earbuds in.
yeah.
He's got the volume control right next to him at all times.
But just got fired.
Right. If you guys don't already, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, and follow Window Cleaning History, man. It's well worth the follow. It's well worth the time spending to go and find it. It should be relatively easy to find because he's pretty good about posting things. And I again, Noah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. Thank you to all our sponsors, and we will be back next week with dick and fart jokes, man. And hopefully we're all still here, and Putin doesn't fucking kill us all with nuclear weapons. I hope you guys all maintain your sanity. Try not to drive a whole bunch because gas is really expensive. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but gas is expensive right now. I did a public service announcement earlier today and let everybody know that gas is expensive, but now I'm telling you guys that gas is expensive right now. But we will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.
Hey guys.